There is a nerve inside you, right now, that connects your brain to your heart, your lungs, and your gut. It is the longest nerve of its kind in your entire body. When it is strong, you calm down quickly after stress, you digest well, you sleep deeply, and your heart rests easily. When it is weak, you stay anxious long after the threat has passed. Your stomach knots for no reason, and rest never quite reaches the bottom of you. Modern science calls it the vagus nerve, the wandering nerve, and in the last few years, it has become one of the most researched pathways in all of medicine. But here is what almost nobody tells you. Buddhist monks were training this nerve, deliberately, systematically, every single day, for over 1,000 years before science gave it a name. They didn't call it a nerve. They didn't need to. They had found, through centuries of patient observation, every major technique that modern research is now validating one study at a time. The chanting, the humming, the long exhale, even the bow. None of it was ceremony. All of it, as you are about to see, was engineering. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what this nerve is, why it is the physical bridge between your mind and your body's ability to heal, and you will have the 5 monastic practices that strengthen it, each one explained, each one usable today. And at the end, as always, we will do the full practice together. Stay with me. Let me begin with a story. There was once a physician in an ancient kingdom, famous for his knowledge of the body. He had read every text, mapped every organ, memorized every pulse. One year, he traveled to a mountain monastery because he had heard something that made no sense to him. The monks there were said to live longer than anyone in the valley below. Their hearts stayed strong into old age. Their stomachs did not sour. Their sleep was deep. Their hands were warm. And when misfortune struck them, they grieved, and then recovered, like water closing over a stone. The physician stayed a full season, watching. He examined their food, simple, their beds, hard, their days, long. Nothing explained it. Finally, frustrated, he went to the abbot and said, "I have studied the body my whole life. Tell me your medicine. Where do you keep it?" The abbot led him not to a storeroom, but to the great hall, where 100 monks sat chanting. The sound rolled through the room, low and unbroken, and the physician could feel it vibrating in the floor, in the walls, in his own chest. "There," said the abbot. The physician frowned. "That is prayer, not medicine." And the abbot smiled and said the sentence, "I want you to remember for the rest of this video. Why do you believe it cannot be both? You have studied the body's parts. We have studied its strings. Every day, we play the one string that tunes all the others. We do not know what it is made of. We only know where it runs, behind the ear, down the throat, into the heart, into the belly. Touch it with sound, touch it with breath, touch it with stillness, and the whole instrument comes back into tune. Behind the ear, down the throat, into the heart, into the belly." The abbot, centuries before anatomy could confirm it, had just described the exact path of the vagus nerve. So what is this string, in the language of our time? The vagus nerve begins at the base of your brain and wanders. That is literally what vagus means, the wanderer. Down through your neck, past your voice box, into your chest where it wraps your heart and lungs, and on into your belly, touching your stomach, your gut, your digestive organs. It is the main highway of the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, and repair state we talked about in the last video. When your brain decides you are safe, it is largely the vagus nerve that carries the message. Heart, you may slow. Lungs, you may deepen. Stomach, you may digest. Body, you may heal. And here is the part that changes everything. The vagus nerve is not just a one-way road from brain to body. 80% of its fibers run the other direction, from the body up to the brain, which means your body is constantly reporting to your brain about whether the world is safe. A tight chest reports danger. A clenched belly reports danger. Shallow breath reports danger, and the brain believes the body. This is why you cannot think your way to calm. The incoming reports keep overruling the thought, but it is also why you can work the other way. Change what the body reports, and the brain changes its verdict. The vagus nerve is the wire those reports travel on. Strengthen the wire. Scientists call this raising your vagal tone, and safety signals travel faster, louder, and more often. The monks found 5 ways to play that string. Here they are, one by one. The first is the low hum, the sound the physician heard in the great hall. The vagus nerve runs directly past your voice box and your vocal cords. When you chant or hum at a low pitch, the vibration physically stimulates the nerve where it passes through the throat. This is why virtually every contemplative tradition on earth independently discovered chanting Om in the monasteries, low prayer tones elsewhere. The bodies knew, even when the books didn't. The practice is this. Once a day, sit comfortably, inhale softly, and on the exhale, hum, low, gentle, letting the sound buzz in your throat and chest, all the way to the end of the breath. Do this for 5 slow breaths. You will feel the vibration in your sternum. That is not your imagination. That is the string being played. Studies now show that humming and chanting measurably increase heart rate variability, the gold standard marker of vagal tone. The monks just called it morning practice. The second is the long exhale, and now you will understand at a deeper level why it works. In the last video, I told you the exhale presses the body's brake. Here is the machinery. That brake is the vagus nerve. Every time you exhale slowly, the vagus fires and gently slows the heart. A long exhale is, quite literally, a vagus nerve exercise, the simplest one that exists. 4 counts in through the nose, 8 counts out through soft lips, a 1 heartbeat pause at the empty bottom, 5 rounds. If you learned it from the last video, you have already been training your vagal tone all week without knowing its name, exactly like the monks. The third is cold water, used in monasteries for centuries in the form of cold water face washing at dawn, and in some traditions, full cold immersion. Cold on the face, specifically the forehead, eyes, and cheeks, triggers something ancient called the dive reflex, and the dive reflex is a massive vagal event. The heart slows within seconds. The practice, made gentle for daily life. Once a day, finish washing your face with genuinely cold water, or hold a cool, damp cloth over your eyes and cheeks for 30 seconds while breathing slowly. It is not comfortable. It is remarkably effective. The monks who broke the ice on the water barrel every morning were not proving their toughness. They were tuning the string before the day began. The fourth is the bow, and this one is the hidden gem nobody talks about. Watch a monk bow. The chin drops, the neck lengthens, the breath leaves the body as the torso folds. Gentle stretching and compression of the neck, where the vagus nerve runs closest to the surface, combined with a natural full exhale and a moment of stillness at the bottom. Modern somatic therapists now teach almost the identical movement and call it a vagal release. The practice, once a day, standing or kneeling, let your chin drop slowly to your chest. Feel the stretch along the back of your neck. Exhale completely as you fold forward as far as is comfortable, and rest there for 3 breaths, completely unhurried. Then rise slowly. You are not worshiping anything. You are, in the most literal mechanical sense, massaging the wanderer where it lives. And the 5th, the deepest one, is loving attention. And yes, this too is measurable now. A landmark line of research took ordinary people and had them practice a classical Buddhist meditation, loving kindness, the silent repetition of goodwill toward themselves and others, for several weeks. Their vagal tone rose, not metaphorically, measurably. Warm, kind, connected attention turns out to be one of the strongest long-term tonics for this nerve, stronger over time than any cold plunge. The monks put compassion at the center of their entire tradition. It now appears they were also, all along, prescribing the most powerful vagus nerve exercise ever tested. The practice, 2 minutes a day, hand over heart, silently repeating, "May I be safe, may I be well, may I rest," and then extending it outward, to one person you love, then one stranger. May you be safe, may you be well, may you rest. That warmth in your chest as you do it, that is the string, resonating. 5 practices: the hum, the long exhale, the cold water, the bow, the loving attention. Every one of them centuries old. Every one of them now sitting in the scientific literature with measurements attached. The monastery and the laboratory arriving at the same place from opposite directions, and the path between them is a single wandering nerve. And now, as promised, let us do the full practice together, the complete vagal tuning, all 5 strings, in sequence. This one you can do seated. Tonight, do it again before sleep. Settle where you are. Let your hands rest. First, the exhale. In through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Out through soft lips, slow, unhurried, all the way to empty. Pause, 1 heartbeat. Again. In, easy. Out, long. Pause. Now the hum. Breathe in, and on this exhale, hum. Low, gentle. Feel it buzz behind your ear, in your throat, down into your chest. Let it fade with the breath. Once more. In and hum, letting the sound wander down the same road the nerve travels. Now the bow. Let your chin drift down toward your chest. Feel the back of the neck lengthen. Exhale fully here. Rest in the fold for 1 breath. 2. And rise. Slowly. As if you had all the time in the world. Because right now, you do. And last, the loving attention. 1 hand over your heart. Feel it beating, steady, loyal, unbothered by everything you've been through today. And silently, at your own pace, may I be safe, may I be well, may I rest. Now someone you love, see their face, may you be safe, may you be well, may you rest. Stay 1 more quiet breath. Notice the warmth in the chest, the slight slowing, the sense of the instrument coming back into tune. That is not a mood, that is a nerve, doing what it was built to do, answering practices older than its own name. The physician, they say, never returned to the palace. He stayed in the mountains, and when younger doctors climbed up years later to ask what medicine he had found there that he could not find in his books, he gave them the abbot's answer, word for word. You have studied the body's parts. Study its strings. There is 1 string that tunes all the others. Play it every day. You now know where it runs, and you now know all 5 ways to play it, every day. That is the whole practice. If this gave you even a little bit of relief, stay a while. Subscribe to Mind and Monk, and let's keep walking through this together, 1 quiet truth at a time,